aggro, but green-black with Nightmare, Birthing Ritual. I'm playing 3 of each, because it seems like it's kind of tough to draw too many of these like 2-mana enchantment engine cards. It's kind of cool to have like both going at the same time. Kind of in on Wight of the Reliquary, another Shifting Woodland deck. The numbers here got really weird too, where it's like I wanted to play more Grist, but Grist has been kind of underperforming, and I haven't been loving drawing multiple Grist in like most decks. I wanted to play more messengers and more 6s, but it seemed like it was kind of tough on the 3-drop slots. I wanted to play more Bowmasters. I really wanted to play 2 Marauders in the main. Marauder's been really nice to loop, and like retracing Marauder with 6 seems really cool. Just like retrace Marauder. I think Flare of Malice in these decks is pretty mandatory. Flare of Malice has been really overperforming, and maybe Wight of the Reliquary is not that good of a card, but we need to test it some more. And I like that. I like being really in on it and having like Tower, Woodland, Spymasters, Surveil Land as like utility lands to grab off the Wight. Let's get going. Coffer's no good. I feel like I wanted to move on. The mana base had some issues. We can maybe circle back to it at some point. Probably want to retool some stuff. Oh, so sorry. I guess this is fine because I could just sack this to the tower. I thought this was the Surveil Land. And I'm just trying to think how, like, what I want to do next turn. Seems like they're probably just going to crack the map. So let's wait on the Grief. I'm just not sure. Like, do I want to sack? Do I want to cast the Wight of the Reliquary, or do I want to cast Messenger? Okay. Them not having a second Tron piece is obviously a really big deal. We're going to get Eldrazi Temple here. They get Power Plant. And then I can also cast a Birthing Ritual, so all of the options in the world. So I don't have enough green mana to go Messenger this turn and then play one of the others cards next turn. I think I'm just going to go start off and Evoke a Grief. Marionette Apprentice and Flesh Taker, both surprising cards to see. They also could have played a Tron piece last turn, right? Oh no, so they tutored the Power Plant, never mind. I'm going to take the Flesh Raker, I guess. And then I'm going to sack the Grief to the tower. And I think it's got Birthing Ritual online where I may be able to like sack Messenger into Grief next turn. And then also seems kind of nice. 6/6, 2 mana. But maybe I have to sack it to the tower so I can play the Messenger. If I'm not doing that, what am I doing? I could play Grist and then sack Grist to get a Swamp so that the Spymaster's Vault enters untapped. Guess I would have hit for 1 more damage if I had done this pre-combat. Put it into graveyard, I think. It's pretty aggro, but I think the Messenger is just good enough with the Birthing Ritual for me to do this. I think a 1 of Bog over Fetch could be in the mana base to combat Ruby Storm. Yeah, maybe. It seems like that would be fine. Okay, so let's sack the Messenger, put a Grief into play. Mirror Retriever and Marionette Apprentice. I mean, Apprentice seems... I mean, I don't love that it's 2 blockers, but it seems like the payoff once they already have their engine going, so maybe we just take that. Have I theory crafted any new red energy cards in Prowess? I'm liking Inventor's Axe. Axe is cool. I don't know. I haven't built Prowess with the energy cards now, but definitely seems like something you could do. I don't think we're supposed to Spymaster's Vault this turn. Okay, kind of surprised at the double block here instead of just chumping the messenger. Maybe this is fine. Yeah, the stream crashed earlier. Oopsie doopsie. So we'll see if there's like a messenger on top. There's a grief. Seems kind of hard to pass up on the grief despite them probably not having anything. Yeah, something. Loving grief in this shell. So they can channel Takanuma. There's Mystic Forge in the deck. So Mystic Forge and Fleshraker is kind of a cool engine. Don't exactly understand the Marionette Apprentices, where it feels like, why do you need Marionette Apprentice and Fleshraker? Because this card is just going to kill them by itself. So let's go float a colorless, play a Phyrexian Tower, bring back a Bloodghast. Oh, and then the hasty Bloodghast just kills them. Sorry, I was thinking about like lines where I'm like towering onto my grief to give it the counters, and sorry, they're just dead there. Okay, Fulminator's coming in. Haywire Mite, Thoughtseize. Marauder seems kind of okay against them. Don't want to over-sideboard if we can help it. I'm gonna bring in the mages and the mites, and then let's cut the Flare of Malices. Although it's really good against that 3-drop. Let's play 3 Flare, no Marauder. They probably have the ring in their deck. They don't definitely have the ring. Maybe I don't. I guess I don't need the Haywire Mites if I have these Grists. It's probably enough disenchants. And then we could cut the 6s, because although 6 is good with Fulminator, we can still Nightmare the Fulminators. I think just for mana curve considerations, we'll cut the 6s. Nobody's playing Chthonian Nightmare so high up. We trophied with it yesterday. I think the deck card's really good. Think about using Cream of the Crop to manipulate the top card for counterbalance. I'll read Cream of the Crop. Whenever a creature is about under control, look at top X, where X is the creature's power, put 1 on cards on top, rest of the bottom. Seems not great. Give this one a go. Let's level to 6. I'd love to surveil that into the yard. Obviously, it can be pretty good with this Wight of the Reliquary. Seems like we should probably take a turn off to Boseiju, though. Let's see what we surveil. That into the yard, of course. I'm gonna go after the power plans. I've started to go after the Tronland people play first, because usually I think Tron players are mostly in the habit of playing the one that they play first, or they're playing the one that they have multiples of their hand. Wait, sorry. They have multiples up first, so I should go after the tower. But usually people get the first one. I've been going after the second. But it's kind of just guesswork, right? Looks like there's a full minute delay for the stream. There shouldn't be. I know we had a stream crash and maybe some weirdnesses going on. Was a record run of Eldrazi? Not great, like 2-4 or something. Lost a lot of die rolls, and we also we had some really rough top decks from our opponents. Well, at one point our burn opponent had 0 cards in hand. We deployed our second Chalice to have a Chalice on 1 and a Chalice on 2, and they immediately top decked Riftbolt. Could you explain Boseiju in draw step? It's a bit better to do it in draw step than upkeep, because if they happen to draw all their basics, like if they had a swamp in hand and they just draw their other swamp, then they can't get anything. So you want to have the maximum chance of that happening. When historically there's not much they can really do to stop it, but maybe there's more they could do to stop it. Sure. Okay, so let's try to go crazy with our Wight. Grabbing a Phyrexian Tower. This Kozilek's command? They probably should have used that already. It's usually better to go for other lands than tower, because it's better for them to grab the tower last to have 3 mana instead of 2. Yeah, I mean, that does matter too. I don't know, it is mostly guesswork, I think, but... Okay, they have Kozilek's command, they exile my Bloodghast, and exile my Wight. Cannot return. There is no escape. That being said, I mean, my opponent has to have like just nothing, which is so tough, but I can maybe kill the Mystic Forge with Grist next turn. I think their deck looks really cool, and I like the idea of Fleshraker as an engine in this kind of deck. I really don't understand the Marionette Apprentices, but I'm gonna go to game 3. Does Grist exile? Destroys. I'm gonna go down a Flare of Malice and then up a 6 on the play to try to get 6 Fulminator going. Apprentice kills really fast. Just doesn't seem that important for those kind of decks to kill very fast, but yeah, that might be the thinking. How's Grist been seeming? Not great. I think it's like a card you can play, but it hasn't been a card that's been super impressive. Okay, opponent mulls to 6. Mulls to 5. Milled over Fulminator Mage, which is very good news with this Nightmare in my hand. Although because I don't have any other creatures, and I guess I could be maybe worried about. I really want to not dead after all this Supplier. Yeah, they can't even Kozilek's command to exile anything next turn without Eldrazi Temple, which I'm pretty sure isn't in their deck. So let's wait a turn. But they're also playing Grinding Station. I just don't understand these apprentices. It's okay. Don't need to understand everything. Need Bloodghasts? 2 hit Bloodghast. Pretty crazy. Goodbye to your lands, opponent. Don't know if you wanted to have lands and play this game. Wouldn't you rather not dead after all the Fulminator? I just Nightmare the Fulminator, right? I think I'd rather have the ability to like redo the Supplier. Maybe it doesn't matter. But that's just kind of on the to-do list for now. This hand is awesome. Of course, we have Grief Scam into 2-drop. I'm just not sure which thing to pitch. I think I'm going to pitch the Nightmare. It's either Nightmare or Wight of the Reliquary. But I like being able to go Wight on turn 2, then play Supplier and sack it to the Knight, and then the Wight will just be so big. Seems like it can't be. This hand will probably win the game. Maybe I should have said that after my opponent could have subtletied me. Okay, poor opponent. They're where we were this morning. Murktide and Yogg was fine right away after MH2. Yeah, but things are just changing a lot. I mean, I remember I was also like I was playing Rhinos, but the Rhinos list like took a long time to get refined. Murktide was also not really established. I think until like at least the first week after, but I don't know. It's just all distant memory too. I could be misremembering. Hold over another Wight of the Reliquary. I think I'm gonna go ahead and still sack the Supplier in combat. Build over an Accursed Marauder, notably. And then I could get get Shifting Woodland and like turn it into a Wight next turn and just attack for more. It seems I've milled over my Underground Mortuary. I think I'm going to get the Woodland, but I'm going to sack the Grief and turn it into another Wight. Maybe worth running a land creature at some time, like Galnir or Dread Arbor. Yeah, maybe. I'm just kind of worried about the number of tap lands, but could be good. Could also play Boseiju Bog. Oops, I'm gonna bring in Pick Poisons, Haywire Mites. Not gonna play Fatal Push. Let's board out the Accursed Marauder. And I get Flare's actually probably really good against them because it just kills like their big stuff, like the red black card and the crab. Maybe it's not great against crab. The Wight attack and sack creature. Yeah, Wight has vigilance, which is pretty crazy. Is there a creature that ETBs and Blake makes black mana? I don't think so. We could do a deep dive, I guess. So I want 6 so I can like loop Haywire Mite. I think I can maybe go like trim Bloodghast. Could trim a Nightmare against the Graveyard Hate. Is Birthing Ritual actually good? I think Birthing Ritual is good, yeah. I think it's like better in this deck than it is in Yogg, which is kind of weird to say. Or like better in this kind of deck, where if your Birthing Ritual's going and you're getting like Griefs and 6s and Messengers and Bowmasters, like I don't think you need to like ramp into Yogg so well, but I've been liking it. I've been liking it in this kind of shell where it just like shits a good creature into play every turn. So here I can go Supplier into Messenger, which is probably just going to be a keep. No Fiend Artisan. I don't have Fiend Artisan in the deck. I don't think that card's amazing, but you could play it. I've played probably with more. I've trophied with Fiend Artisan in Modern enough times to say that card is kind of playable, but also that card it's not super good. It just like kind of gets the job done sometimes. Opponent, you didn't keep this hand. Come on. You did not just keep Bauble, Tormund's Crypt. We are definitely losing this game, by the way. No chance to win. How's the 6 coffers deck? The mana was kind of awkward. Need more green sources, I think. Like at least one more. Gonna circle back to it. Not built any miracle decks yet. We'll get around to it. Maybe they had Saga in the hand and they just like wanted to see if they would draw land for a turn. It's probably not what happened, but do I have Delirium? I have creature, instant, land in the yard. So not quite. Oh, sorry, Birthing Ritual. I do have Delirium. So I'm kind of excited about the idea of like copying Shifting Woodland into a Geralf's Messenger and like sacking it to tower. I guess that doesn't do anything. Okay, shouldn't have been so excited. It sounds like it does something, but it just comes back as a woodland. I guess it would protect. You could do that against like creature removal. It also would come back with a counter, which is kind of funny. Might just copy Shifting or Birthing Ritual if I draw nothing still. Where's this game against better Miracles Engine and Brainstorm? Well, we have Brain Surge too. Neither are super good. But they might just get the job done. I guess we hardcast Grief instead of copying Birthing Ritual. Surprise, surprise, their hand is all spells. So I can take this one. The Surgical is pretty scary. I'll trade Messenger for Thought Monitor, and if they want to trade it for Thought Monitor and Crypt, I'm happy enough. Okay, happy enough. Still gotta play around that Surgical though. They drew another one of these. Good old Grief Bug. Was the Woodlands Omniscience deck good or what? We played that a couple days ago. It wasn't performing very well. I think Woodlands looked really good in the Eldrazi deck earlier today, but the deck is maybe a little too slow and grindy in this like very fast metagame. Everybody's just trying to like combo as fast as they can. Okay, opponent. Yeah, I think they were just trying to think of see if they could crab, but they were mana shy of crabbing. So am I supposed to grief scam my opponent and just trade it for Surgical? Probably not. Yeah, I've not played against a lot of counter magic, no. So I think I'm supposed to just cast Not Dead After All here. Potentially getting into the yard for Delirium and kind of hope they exile the land. Maybe that doesn't make sense. They found a Haywire Mite, which is good, I guess. Good for them. Less than 6 and Free Strider Valakut over Magda. Maybe. Seems reasonable enough. Okay, let's keep the Supplier. This can grow the Wight a lot, which is kind of the main thing we need to do. So we found a Bloodghast that can come into play untapped. Seems like I should just have faith that this Wight is going to get in. I don't know about sending in with the Grief yet. I think I don't want to send in with the Grief because I can maybe Spymaster's Vault onto it and get it pretty big. We could just set Griefs there with the tower. So the problem is I know they have Surgical, so I didn't. If you wanted me to Undying the Grief, we knew they have Surgical Extraction in their hand, which I think they'll Surgical my Bloodghast. So I think what's going to happen is I'm going to get Spymaster's Vault, and then they're going to Surgical my Bloodghast, and then I'm going to sack my Grief to Tower so that my Wight lives. Doesn't land come in tapped? Yeah, but next turn we can, that's why I'm not attacking with Grief. So next turn I can try to grow the Grief. But it looks like I'm sacking it anyways. And then I have Delirium for the Woodland. And I can maybe just copy Woodland on the Wight and attack for 8. Well, I think Ragavan's gone bad. It's just bad Bowmasters. It's not just Bowmasters. It's just like the majority of decks are just very good at either blocking it or killing it, and it's just awful top deck. It's like so bad in the late game, just kind of does nothing. But Bowmasters is definitely a big part of that. Might be better if the Ruby Storm is really popular because Ragavan it's another deck against it. Yeah, White's been good so far. I think it's been a little bit better so far today than I thought it would be. Yeah, to some extent the format has kind of warped around it, but it's just pretty easy to answer well. So they can equip the Shadow Spear. I think that they should be dead if they just equip Shadow Spear and attack, because I can just Woodland my Wight and get in for 8 or for 16. I think Nethergoyf is very good. I don't think that's right for this deck, but I think Nethergoyf is really, really good. So they attack with just the Pteramander, but this is also them dead on board. unless their last card is relevant. So I didn't tap one of these green lands for green. It's okay. Magic Online lets you undo some mistakes. So things have not been going super well today, but I think one big takeaway is that Shifting Woodland is probably better in decks like this where it just gets to copy a big thing and attack for a lot, like just like the Eldrazi deck too. More so than it is good in Omniscience combo, although we might be able to figure out Omniscience combo still. So we have turn 2 Bowmaster, and then we can cast Messenger, and then even we could also sack Messenger to Tower next turn. Elves when we played Elves on Tuesday. We went 4-1 with it. It was pretty nice. Graveyard's an island. Incredible draw. So middle over a Wight of the Reliquary and an Accursed Marauder. I thought of Tower with Rakdos Sac. Yeah, so I wanted to be, I was working on Rakdos Sac too. There's just like a million ways to build this deck. Mono black. We've trophied with blue black. Rakdos, and we're just getting around to it. Seems like I should just be playing Bowmaster, not playing into the open mana. Yeah, you can evoke Grief off of 6 if you have another black card to pitch. Yeah, I really wanted to play 2 Marauders, just didn't feel like there was really room. Second Supplier is pretty cool. They're not thinking about Fatal Pushing, are they? Also, are they playing Mill? Is there no room for Twilight Mire? Not necessary. I think it's not necessary. There isn't the most room in the deck, though. Waffle, 2 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Igora's Vengeance completely vanished with MH3. I think that the Nightmare decks are going to be better, so but we'll see. It's a little bit early to say. I really want to play Wight, so I think I'm going to play another Supplier first, though. Still no Bloodghasts, which is maybe a blessing because it kind of feels like my opponent has a Surgical Extraction. They have Fatal Push for the Wight. This is a little bit worse, or a lot worse. 1/2 Trolls as Christmas Land target for Nightmare. It's just, I think it is a little too Christmas Landy. It's so slow to get online. Mill again. Maybe they could mill some Bloodghast for me and it'd be nice. I think I don't want to survey. I think I want to be able to like fetch in response to Surgical and Bloodghasts. Also, do I have any Griefs in the yard? Yeah, there's some Griefs. So I'm actually just gonna retrace Grief here. Okay, I guess I accept your hand being 2 lands. We've milled 23 cards. None of them have been Bloodghasts. A little bit unlucky. Okay, I guess that's makes our Surveil better. They're doing this, I guess, so they can maybe mill all my targets. Oh, because they drew Archive Trap for turn. Stupid mill. Graveyard of Bloodghast. Hack Mill 3, huh? So I could retrace a Bowmaster, but I think it's got to be better to like landfall back. Also, it's still only milled one. I have 3 Bloodghast still on the deck. It has not been our day today. Might still get there. So get back Bowmaster, kill the crab, and then we can sack the token to get back a messenger. And if they brick for a turn, there's a pretty good chance we can win the game. We know they have. I guess. Sorry, Wight has got to be the best one. that's 17-17. Okay, so that Dumo spell. Okay, well that probably can find a mill spell. Kind of anticlimactic or less climactic. Fatal pushes the Wight. Well, I'm not dead yet. So I'm hitting them for 6. And then really seeming like I can deal that damage with messengers here. Might want to keep 6 back. No, not really, because I go to 4 cards, so I'm not dead to a single crab mill, and I'm still dead to all the bigger mill spells. Grief the Trap. Do we feel like they have Archive Trap in their hand? There's 2 more Bloodghasts, or all 3 more Bloodghasts, which unfortunately I couldn't haste here. But crab plus fetch. I mean, we can lose the crab plus fetch. I don't think we have the luxury of playing around it. If we do, maybe we just. I guess we could just get grief back. They could have Archive Trap too as the last card. Okay, there's the fetch. So dead to a crab. I win if they draw a land, a surgical extraction, a fatal push, a drown in the lock. Not Visions of Beyond. Can't do anything in my upkeep, right? Close. Another day getting milled. So we have Endurances instead of Emrakul today. Endurance in, Thoughtseize is in, Accursed Marauder. I guess we just got the board the flares out. We could play maybe second Marauder. Be like 62. Push 63. Let's do push 63. I'm okay, Fruit Kid. I just kind of opened Pandora's box of taking too many deck lists. I also just haven't really been thinking about Shadow at all lately, and not super close to playing a Shadow deck, I guess. If you play Shadow, you should have 4 Necrogoyfs, and that's about all I think. Worth playing 1 Endurance for the self-mill in the main? I'm not that scared of mill. Probably good to lead on Thoughtseize so I don't get like my Bloodghast Surgical. Sorry, Nethergoyf, not Necrogoyf. Two crabs. I think if I take the push and then I can maybe just like 6 and retrace endurance and not really worried about these crabs too much. Should Stitchers come out? I don't think so. I think we're just like we're trying to like retrace endurance and like undo damage, but Supplier is just such an important card in this deck too. It's like the deck functions a lot worse without Suppliers. There's a Bloodghast. And there's an Endurance. So if we draw a green card, we can just like bring back at least 1 Bloodghast and then retrace Endurance maybe. Looks like only 1 Bloodghast. They keep a card on top. Okay, can't retrace. Pass back. What's nice, I mean, not that they're going to mill my entire library here, but we could even, like, just retrace and upkeep. We can also Shifting Woodland to copy 6 if my 6 dies. We have Sorcery, Enchantment, Land Creature in yard. Another crab. Mills me for 9. Okay, big draw step. We drew a Grief. I'm going to start up and just attack with the team here. Do find a land to retrace something with. I think I should just retrace the Grief, the Evoke Grief, and then also plan to Endurance. Maybe I'll see something in their hand that makes me change my mind. What, they didn't Crypt Incursion here? They didn't hold up Crypt Incursion. That's wild. Yeah, I feel like I can just afford to Wight here. And then if they mill me, I could just upkeep Endurance. So this is 9. Oh, I guess I can't upkeep Endurance if they if I don't have any basics to fetch. I think it looks like I still have 1 probably. So there's another Bloodghast. Or 2 more Bloodghasts. Phyrexian Tower is interesting. So let's assume that this Wight is getting chump block since it's a 22/22. So no more basics to get. I think I'm not using the mana to cast Endurance now. I'm just going to let damage happen. Because I want to bring back the more Bloodghasts. If they Crypt Incursion when you've lost the ability to Endurance. Yeah, but they didn't have the mana to do it because they chose to cast a crab instead. But yeah, I agree. It seems like they should have gone for that. Yeah, I guess I could have cast Endurance in response to the field. My opponent, who's up a game, hits me with the slash smiley, which is very bad news for our chances to win this match. I think they're hoping my last card wasn't a land. What was going on? I'm also going to put a Shifting Woodland into play before they maybe mill it. I return Endurance from the yard with my 6, which lets me retrace any permanent card from my yard. Okay, Lantern's pretty good here. Although, they just have to hold it up to pop, which is kind of nice. I went to my emotional support, Eldrazi. Well, I'm playing a deck with 3 Endurances and the ability to loop Endurance, so I decided to brave the day without any without any Emrakul's in this list. Very strong of me. Okay, they concede, go to game 3. Did they give Mill any upgrades? No, but boy, are people playing a lot of it right now. Yeah, 6 is really, really sweet. I know there's just always so much Mill. It's so crazy. People just love to play Mill on Magic Online. It's just like, it's just got to be ways so fun because we can see the library size all the time. And you don't, and like you just in paper it's so much worse, like counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Like the spell's resolving so fast, it's just gotta be so fun. 6 bump to A tier. The tier system is out the window now that we're actually playing with the cards. It was, always just a tool to start categorizing our initial deck building, and we're there. No longer have any thoughts on the tiers, I think. Seems like I should probably grief and then play one of my two drops. I gotta get rid of this. That's Tramp Raptor. Raptor's been really good, I think, but Fearless for me out the window. We're actually building decks now. So if we mill something good to get back, we can Nightmare. If we don't, we can Ritual. We build 2 Bloodghast. Ral is S tier for sure. Weirdly enough, the grief is also kind of weird. Pretty sure we should Birthing Ritual. So turn 2, we have 4 creatures in play, and we griefed our opponent. It's kind of fun. Looking at the cards, do I want to Endurance? It seems like getting Endurance with the ability to, like loop it with Nightmare seems pretty nice. Messenger would have also been really good there. Both good options, I think. Black Green Karn Fog West. I need to play it in the league. I haven't played it outside of the testing we did with Dingo, but it was good then. Can't imagine it's like significantly worse now. So I can sack my Endurance, bring back like a Messenger, then return Endurance, although there's another Endurance here. Although they drew a second Lantern, which is a bummer. They target my other Endurance. The tier list stuff it's just tough to evaluate everything together, because like one thing about like Nadu combo is that like the 2-drop that makes a 1/1 insect is so important for that combo deck, and it's just kind of hard to evaluate how good Nadu combo is without that card too. Just so many moving pieces. That's good to just kind of think of them more as guidelines than anything else. So I think I'm gonna sack my Bloodghast and then see if they want to pop the Lantern. I mean, if they do pop the Lantern, I think either way we're just gonna cast Grief, I suppose. I think there's a good chance they don't pop it here, though. We can Grief their last card. Hopefully it's not a land. Cool. Oh, sorry, we knew about the Fractured Sanity. Forgot that we knew about it. So here's another Endurance. I think I should get here. Just force the issue on the Lantern, and then we have the ability to like Endurance Nightmare still. Birthing Ritual's very good, I think. Very powerful card. Gonna take 6 and then lose 1 crab in this combat. Then we should sack our Bowmaster. And then Nightmare back Bowmaster, sacking Grief, I think. And then we can Nightmare back our Grief and see if that last card is something we can take, which I think there's a somewhat reasonable chance it is. be right. Good to be a Wight of the Reliquary. Stream tells us the covers. That was maybe because of the crash. Okay, 3-0. Glad things are turning around after a pretty rough morning. Let's get a trophy with green-black. I also have a mono-black build. That's pretty similar to canisters. So we're on 5 cards here. It's not exactly ideal. I can't really go to 4, and I think the idea of getting Bloodghast plus Tower plus 6 online is really good, so if this hand just top decks a green source, it's like a really good mull to 5. We're up against Lantern Control. I don't know how to feel about that. Thank you, Breakfast, for 2 months. Appreciate you. Can do another update of decks and thoughts like I do with paper testing. We'll see. I don't know. It's just there's only so many hours in the day, but we'll see. So we can beat them with like Geralf Messenger triggers, maybe. Although it's also very possibly going to be the case that my opponent's just going to be able to stop me from ever drawing a land. Is this better than just scamming them? I can't scam them because Tower doesn't tap for a black. But no. Bet 40k and Q into Lantern. I think we're probably going to do okay against Lantern. We'll see. I mean, we're I guess also probably not going to win this game. Although they didn't... Okay, do I cast this Bowmaster? Seems correct. Got a Karn over there. Go Bloodghast. So the hand is Ancient Stirrings, which they didn't cast for some reason. Lantern of Insight. Now it's going to be not Karn. Oh, I'm going to get to draw a land. Unless they Stirrings into another one of these. Can't see Decklist. Sorry, I thought They find a Saga, plays a Saga. And then cast Disruptor Flute, naming Wight of the Reliquary. Makes sense. Put it down to 9. Bridge ensnared. Karn coming down to lock the game out next turn. I can knock that after all my Bowmasters, and I can like ping the Karn once. Let's just go ahead and go to match number 2. We are pretty locked out here. I'm going to bring in the Haywire Mites. I'm going to bring in the Pick Your Poisons. I think I'm bringing in the Fulminators also. I definitely don't want the Flare of Malices or the Accursed Marauder, which opens up the deck a good amount. The Grist are nice. Maybe there's too many Fulminators. Like, could probably just get away with like 2. Bloodghast seems pretty good. 6 good. 61 maybe fine. Not a lot I want to cut. I think I want at least 2 Fulminators. I want 2, I want 2, I want 4, I want 3, I want 3, I want 4. 61 it is. It's not any card that's... I think it's better to be 61 than cut any of these cards. Which is not something I feel like I say that often. Got a mulligan with no land that can cast anything, really. The same hand, really? It obviously wasn't very good last game. At least have the Nightmare, and it's just, I don't know. I think keeping this is still better than going to 6, despite Sand not being very good. Why mull first hand? I can't cast any spell. I could cast no spells with the first hand, is why I mulliganed. Maybe the mana base needs a little tune. I think it's fine. It's a little early to be too doomy and gloomy, y'all. I'm gonna take the Lantern of Insight. I'm actually gonna cast the Nightmare here. It's a little weird. Now we're 3-3-0. I had to mulligan a bunch of one-landers, and I don't know, I think it's just okay. So this was their draw for turn, the Rista. I guess they actually couldn't have discarded turn 1 anyways. So hopefully we draw lands before they draw Karn or too many lock pieces, but their hand is pretty dopey. Adventure's Fair Forest, mystery card. They could flute us. Well, you've successfully summoned the flute. Yeah, it feels not great to have 2 pretty non-functional draws in a row. Is what it is. I think you're probably supposed to keep this over going to 5 and hope to draw land ever, but it's okay. Bummer. With Wight, 3 towers the right number. I've been pretty happy playing 4 towers. Maybe we got burned by it these last 2 matches, but I think you should play 4. Is Cauldron good in the shell? I mean, it only works with Wight, right? Okay, Graveyard, second one. Dakmar Salvage? I think that card's pretty awful. Yeah, I'm not that into it. Spymaster's Vault, so I mean, probably just holding up Bowmaster. Unclear, are they Yogg? Are they deck like ours? Are they playing Soul Trader combo? Good chance that's the case. I'm going to play Wight, I think. Not very surprising copy of Bowmaster. So they grist my Wight, and then we are going to slam 6, I guess. We can go like Bloodghast plus Birthing Ritual maybe, or we can like retrace 2 Wights possibly. World's our oyster. Although I think drawing this Flare, I now think it's probably pretty good for me to just go Flare the Grist. Too bad I've already used my Mortuary. Tyvar's version seems okay. I don't know. You could play Tyvar in the deck, yeah. But it's also like, I think Birthing Ritual and Nightmare seem like better like non-creature payoffs. To some extent, Flare, I don't know if you count that as the same. But yeah, I think you need to play Flare. So it's just kind of tough to play a lot of these effects. Yeah, you could play Grist in this deck, but I choose to like lean onto 6 a little bit more. But there's a good chance you could just play Grist over the 6s. Dude, Grist just keeps hitting 2 tokens. It's been happening so much to me lately. Oh, and then they get to grief my Birthing Ritual. Yeah, Flare, because Flare is like just one of the only good answers to Nadu, which is part of the reason why the black deck seems to likely be in a good place. Oh, they should definitely target me here. Crazy turn. Wait, they didn't take Birthing Ritual? It's kind of, I guess, no, they should take a Birthing Ritual because they could just grist the 6. Might Boseiju there. Spymaster's Vault, we'll see. Shouldn't have played my land first. It's okay though. We have to take a messenger here. Messenger's also been really good. Every time. And my opponents just always get 2 tokens. The percentage of my opponent's Grist getting 2 tokens post MH3 has been so high. And obviously there's more insects now. But it's been so high lately. So let's just Boseiju the Nightmare. For MH3 bump. Yeah, for sure. But they've been feeling that bump. Oh, dude. Now they get to return their Grist. Kill my ritual. Okay, let's go to game 2. Brutal day. Endurance is in. Haywire Mite's in. Flares seem pretty awkward. Yeah, it seems like you kind of just don't want to be the person playing Flare in this matchup. Maybe it's still fine. Was the most powerful brew so far? Probably Ruby Storm. I haven't. Yeah, I mean, Flare kills Grist, but they just have Nightmare to get Grist back. Like, we lost that game because we didn't play around Nightmare. We just we flared their Grist, and like we literally lost that game because we did that instead of cast 6. So it's not super sold on that part of the plan. Flare exiles. Flare makes them sacrifice. Flare very explicitly did not exile last game too. Boy, did that Grist come right back from the graveyard. Okay, on the blame. Okay, this hand is pretty awesome. Not sure if I'm just supposed to go Grief on turn 1. I think I'm gonna wait a turn. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Theomancer is not playable. Just so slow. Six is kind of a juicy card here. It was better to just keep it on top and then like try to Nightmare it back. With Red White Flage against Burn, is Sanctify worth bringing in? I think the Flage Escape is probably more important. Against Burn specifically. So I think I should probably Grief to play around Bowmaster into Grist minus on my 6. How am I liking Wight? Wight's been good. It's been, I think, one of the best cards in the deck. But obviously the deck, you know, it should feel like that because we're building around it. So have to take the Flare. And then hopefully the 6 takes over this game. Should be pretty resilient to Grief at this point. What are we getting from Wight? Phyrexian Tower, Spymaster's Vault, Woodland, Surveil Land. But it also just mostly just a big ramp spell that gets gigantic. So they pitched Grief to Grief. Played the Verdant Catacombs. Then his Overgrown Tomb, Nightmare mystery card. And then they can't Nightmare to return Grief, so hopefully that last card wasn't too good. And Endurance, okay. Turrets was very good. Not quite best possible, thankfully. Don't know why we're paused. So I can attack and I can trade Wight or 6 for Bowmaster. Seems like I'm just gonna try to have this endurance up for next turn. Grist, any good? The 1-mana Grist has been pretty underwhelming. It's been so much worse than I expected it to be. Is Jeskai Flage control? I want to play Jeskai Flage with Invert Polarity and Flage. Sounds really fun to me. I've not gotten around to it. Okay, let's move on. Not even take the draw step. Okay, so 3-0 to 3-2. Tough last couple matches.